What's going on, and welcome back. I'm going to share an experience with you that I went through. Not one that I had the pleasure of having, but one that I went through, okay? It's one of those things like if you're ever watching a horror movie and something scary is happening on TV and you think to yourself, what would I do in that situation, right? What would I do? That's how I felt that night. This story I'm fixing to tell you, dude, it was scary and like really like spooky, right, at the same time. So this happened about 7 years ago. I used to date this girl, and we went out for a couple of months, and she used to tell me that her house, she thought that maybe her house was haunted. She had, not when I was dating her, but before, she had a roommate, and she said that her roommate would tell her that she would hear noises at night. Now, I don't know if her roommate, I know her roommate ended up moving out of the house, but I don't know if she moved out of the house because of the noises she heard, or she just got another apartment or whatever. But so in those 2 months that we were together, she stayed over at the house a few times, and I stayed over at her house a few times. The first couple of times that I stayed at her house, I never heard anything. As a matter of fact, when it was time to go to bed, as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out. Because she kept her room like real nice and cool. Because at the time that we were dating, it was summertime. It was really, really hot outside. But her bedroom was nice and cool, and it was dark. Man, it was really dark. So as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out like a light, right? She didn't live in a bad neighborhood. As a matter of fact, the neighborhood that she lived in was pretty nice. It was pretty quiet. The elementary school was right next to her house, like literally across the street. Like I could get a rocket, throw it at the school and hit it. And right down the street was my dad and my stepmom's house. Is my dad and my stepmom's house. You could look out of her front door and you could see their house from her house. That's how close they lived. So I'm gonna try to give a description of this house without going into too much detail, right? For number one, she didn't have no carpet in this house; it was all wood flooring. But when you walked in, there was the living room, and off to the left was like the guest restroom, and I think it was 2 or 3 bedrooms. I can't remember if it was a 3 or 4 bedroom house. But through the living room, there was a doorway that went into a kitchen. And through the kitchen was the laundry room, and to the left of the laundry room was her bedroom. Now she had a pretty good sized bedroom. It was pretty big, right? Well, it was a Saturday, and she asked me what I was going to do that day. I was like, I don't have plans. Well, the only thing I need to do, I told her, was I need to do the laundry. She goes, well, why don't you get all your laundry and come to the house, and you can do laundry there, and I'll wash your clothes for you and all that. So I was like, okay. So I got all my laundry, all my dirty clothes, threw them in my car, took them to her house, and she didn't start doing laundry until like it was pretty late in the afternoon. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when she started. I had a lot of clothes to do. So while she was doing laundry, we made dinner or whatever. We ate, watching TV. It was around midnight that night that she's like, well, I still have another load to do, but it's already late. I could tell she was tired. I was sitting there watching TV. She was reading a book, and she was like falling asleep. She said, I'll just do that last load tomorrow. She was like, I'm really tired. I was like, okay, well let's go to bed, and we'll finish it tomorrow, whatever. So she started turning all the lights out of the house, and let me tell you, when the lights went out of this house, it was dark, like dark. You couldn't see nothing. So we get into the bedroom, and the only light that she had in this bedroom was, when she turned the lights out, was a digital clock that she had sitting on her headrest of her bed, and it had like blue numbers on it. And after a while, you could see like your eyes would adjust right in the dark with this little bit of light that was in there. At the end of her bedroom was a archway. To the right on the wall was this archway that you could go through, and there was a sink, and right next to the sink was another door that went into the restroom and the shower. So, you know, after being in the dark for a little bit, your eyes would adjust and you could see the back of her bedroom, and you could see this archway, right? So it was a little after midnight, you know, we fell asleep, and this is gonna sound cliche because this is the time when things normally happen, like in scary movies or whatever. But I woke up. It was a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, not in the afternoon. I woke up. It was like a little after 3 o'clock in the morning, and I rolled over, and I do this with my arm to feel where she was at. And she wasn't in the bed anymore. I was like, what? It's like, where did she go? So I was facing the opposite wall. I rolled over to face her, but she, like I said, she wasn't in there, and it was dark. This house was dark. I could hear her walking around in the kitchen, doing stuff in the kitchen. I was like, what the hell is she doing? And I'm laying there, and I'm listening to her walking around and doing stuff in the kitchen. But you know, her kitchen was kind of right there by her bedroom, and it was dark in there. You couldn't see nothing. I was like, is she getting something to drink or what the hell? But I could hear her walking around in there, and then all of a sudden I heard her go. Doo, 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 doo. She walked into the living room. And then it got quiet for a second. Then I could hear her walking in the living room. And I thought, what the hell is she doing? Right? So I'm listening to her, and I'm thinking, is she sleepwalking or what's going on? Because, you know, I never, the times that she stayed at the house and the couple of times that I stayed at her house, she's never done that, right? So all of a sudden I heard her walking from the living room into the kitchen, through the laundry room, and then by this time I could my eyes had adjusted with the light of this digital clock. I see her walking into the bedroom, and she stops next to the bed, and she's facing her wall, and then she turns and she looks down, and now she's just staring right at me. Dude, I'm getting fucking chills right now. She's just standing there. She's staring at me. Now, I don't have my eyes open. I kind of like have them like half open, so she thinks that I'm asleep. And she's just standing there. She's staring at me, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I'm like kind of looking at her, and she's just standing there, staring. And this goes on for like a few minutes. And I'm thinking, what the hell's wrong with this girl? What is she doing? Why is she just staring at me? And I'm laying there, and you know, it's like dead silent at this house. And she's just standing there looking at me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what the hell is going on here? And after a few minutes of her staring at me, she kind of like looks up, and she turns her body facing towards the back of her bedroom, and she takes off walking towards the back of her bedroom, and she disappears inside of this archway. Now I'm like thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Now I'm wide awake. It's already like a little after 3:30 in the morning, and now I'm wide awake. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, what the hell is she doing? I never heard her like, I never seen the lights going on in her restroom or anything. I didn't hear the door open or close. Because because she normally left that bathroom door closed. So I'm like, holy smokes, what's going on? So I roll over and I turn on. I'm laying on my left side, so I can like take a look at this archway. Trying to look into this archway, but I couldn't. It was her room was, like I said, her room was pretty big, and there were some ways to go before you got to this archway. So I'm just looking, and I'm staring. At that time, all these thoughts were going through my head. I'm thinking, oh my God, what if? What am I gonna do? I'm thinking, what am I gonna do if she comes running out of that archway, and she jumps on the bed, and she gets over me, and she starts like laughing, and you know, the best way I could put it, laughing like in a with a demonic voice, or growling at me, and I'm thinking, oh dude, like I've watched too many horror movies, right, to know I've seen this situation before. And I'm like, oh my God. So I kind of like, I lift my leg up. I'm laying on my side. I lift my leg up because I'm thinking, if she comes running out of that archway and she jumps on the bed, I'm gonna kick her. I'm gonna kick her off the bed, and I'm jumping off this bed, and it's on. It's on. Because if that's what happens, I'm gonna beat her ass, but in my head I'm like, I'm not gonna actually be beating her. I'm gonna whatever. But I was like, what if she's possessed, right? So I'm laying there, and it's just quiet, man. It's just like dead silent, and we're both in the dark. And now I'm starting thinking, fuck, man, what if she crawls out from that archway and she starts crawling towards the bed? I'm like, oh my God. All these things were going through my head. So this went on for like about 5 minutes. I'm just staring at this archway. And then she walks out from this archway. She turns and she starts staring towards the bed. And I'm like, oh my God. Here we go. Here we go. What the hell's gonna happen? What's fixing to go down, right? And she's not stumbling like she's walking towards the bed. No. She takes off walking towards the bed slowly. And I'm like, holy shit. So the way I'm laying, and I can see her to the periphery of my vision. She's walking, but then I don't see her anymore because she got past where I can see. I'm like, fuck. Now she's behind me, standing there, and I'm thinking, I can't move. I was scared, but I couldn't move because I was scared. I was like, I can't move. I can't let her know that I'm awake, because as soon as I do, what if that's when she's on top of me, right? And then I felt her crawling into the bed. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. I can't turn around. Like, she crawled into the bed. She got up right up against my back, and she put her arm around me, and everything stopped. Like it got like, I don't know if she like fell asleep or what, but when she did, I kind of like, I put my arm on her arm. I was like, and I grabbed her hand, and I kind of like turned and I looked, and she had her eyes closed. I was like, what the hell? So I just kind of laid there, and I gotta say, it took me a while to fall back asleep again. It took me until like I heard her snoring. I was like, oh my God, she's asleep. And then I kind of like drifted off and I fell asleep. And then I woke up the next morning. It was about 7:30 in the morning, and I turned around and I looked, and she was gone again. I was like, what the hell? So I got up and I got dressed, and I walked into her living room, and her front door was open, and I looked outside, and she was outside watering her trees. So I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, oh my God. I was like, never, 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 never again am I staying over here. And I didn't. I went outside, and she told me good morning. I didn't tell her what happened the night before. Like I said, I don't know if she was sleepwalking. I don't know what the hell was going on with her. But I just told her, I was like, look, I'm gonna go home real quick. I'm gonna go take a shower, and I'll come back. And she said, okay. So I went home I came home and took a shower. I got dressed and I went back, and she was still doing my laundry or whatever. And I think when she got done with the laundry, it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever. But after that, things just kind of started falling apart. So we stopped seeing each other. But I've never experienced anything like that before in my life, where I actually felt like I was in a horror movie, and it was scary, man. It was spooky. Let me tell you, I never want to go through that again, never. But you know what? We are officially in October, spooky season, so you're gonna be getting videos like this. I'll still be talking about games, but dude, it's the fall. The weather's changing. Maybe I can start filming in here in the afternoons like I used to, because it's not getting as hot up as it is outside. It's getting darker a little bit earlier, and the nights are getting a lot more chillier. So, dude, this is gonna be great, man. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I don't know if I told it before. I can't remember, but if I did, it was years ago and I can't remember. And if I didn't, if I did, and for those of you that are new here, that never watched that video, if it even happened, like I said, I don't remember. I hope you enjoyed it. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.